In a dramatic escalation that has gripped both the political and media landscapes, U.S. Senator John Fetterman has launched a lawsuit against Sunny Hostin, a prominent co-host of ABC's daytime talk show, The View. The legal action stems from allegedly defamatory remarks made on air, marking a rare moment where political power and television commentary collide in a high-stakes courtroom confrontation. As questions swirl about free speech, journalistic responsibility, and political reputations, this case is shaping up to be more than just a legal skirmish. It may be a pivotal moment in the intersection of politics and media accountability. Senator John Fetterman, a Democrat representing Pennsylvania, has become one of the most distinctive figures in American politics. Known for his plain-spoken style, casual appearance, and unapologetic progressivism, Fetterman has consistently positioned himself as a working-class advocate who is unafraid of controversy. Since winning his Senate seat in 2022 after a contentious race and a stroke that briefly sidelined him, Fetterman has remained in the media spotlight for his bold positions, especially on issues ranging from labor rights to prison reform. Sunny Hostin, on the other hand, is a seasoned television personality and legal analyst with a strong voice on political and social matters. A co-host on ABC's The View, a show known for its roundtable format and politically charged discussions, Hostin regularly shares her commentary on national news stories and political figures. Over the years, The View has served as a platform for robust, sometimes combative conversations that walk the line between journalism and entertainment. The relationship between political figures and media commentators has always been fraught with tension. In the past, public figures have used lawsuits to counter what they view as false or damaging claims, although such legal maneuvers often risk greater public scrutiny. When defamation is alleged, courts must weigh freedom of expression against potential harm to reputation, a balance that becomes even more delicate when the parties involved are public figures. The backdrop to this lawsuit includes these very themes: freedom of speech, the reach of television commentary, and the legal protections for both journalists and public officials. According to documents filed in federal court, Senator John Fetterman is suing Sunny Hostin for defamation after she made a series of statements during a segment on The View that aired earlier this month. During the live broadcast, Hostin allegedly suggested that Fetterman had engaged in questionable campaign ethics and implied that he had connections with undisclosed donors with extreme interests, statements that the lawsuit claims are categorically false and damaging to the senator's reputation and public trust. The complaint, submitted by Fetterman's legal team, states that Hostin's remarks were made with reckless disregard for the truth and with actual malice, the legal threshold required to pursue a defamation claim involving a public figure. Fetterman's attorneys further argue that the broadcast reached millions of viewers and caused immediate and irreparable harm to the senator's character, particularly among constituents and political allies. In the immediate aftermath of the broadcast, social media erupted with commentary. Clips of Hostin's segment went viral, drawing sharp criticism from both sides of the political aisle. While some viewers interpreted Hostin's remarks as protected opinion under the First Amendment, others argued that her statements crossed the line into misinformation. Within 72 hours of the episode airing, Fetterman's office released a formal statement refuting the claims and signaling potential legal action, a threat that has now materialized into a full-scale lawsuit. ABC, the parent company of The View, has not yet been named in the lawsuit, but is mentioned in the filings as the distributor and amplifier of the defamatory content. Legal experts suggest that depending on how the case unfolds, ABC could be brought in as a co-defendant under media liability statutes. A representative for ABC stated that the network supports its talent's right to express opinions, but declined to comment further, citing pending litigation. Hostin has not publicly commented on the lawsuit beyond a brief mention on her Instagram account, where she wrote that she would let the legal process play out. Her attorneys have filed a preliminary response indicating that they will move to dismiss the case, arguing that Hostin's statements were rhetorical opinion and therefore constitutionally protected under the First Amendment. This legal confrontation has already begun to shape narratives about accountability in the media. Fetterman's supporters argue that public figures should not be allowed to make unsubstantiated claims without facing consequences. Meanwhile, Hostin's defenders view the lawsuit as an attempt to silence a critical voice, raising alarms about potential political overreach into journalistic commentary. As the case advances, it will likely test the boundaries of constitutional protections in the realm of televised discourse. The lawsuit has prompted swift reactions across the political and media spectrum. Democratic strategists have largely rallied behind Fetterman, framing the lawsuit as a necessary step to preserve the integrity of public discourse. Senator Fetterman is drawing a line in the sand, said a senior Democratic communications advisor. If television pundits can say anything without accountability, we erode the foundation of informed democratic debate. Republican commentators, however, have taken a more skeptical view. While few have openly defended Hostin's remarks, some argue that Fetterman's legal move may backfire. This is not a good look for someone who champions free speech, said conservative radio host Hugh Hewitt. You don't go to court every time someone on TV criticizes you. Media watchdog groups have also weighed in. The Media Ethics Council released a statement urging all parties to respect the difference between journalistic inquiry and personal attacks. We support Senator Fetterman's right to challenge misinformation, but we caution against legal action that could create a chilling effect on political commentary. Legal experts, including several constitutional scholars, have begun dissecting the case in op-eds and interviews. The central issue will be whether Hostin's remarks can be proven to be knowingly false and malicious, said Professor Emily Rains of Georgetown Law. That's a very high bar under existing U.S. defamation law, especially post-New York, Times v. Sullivan. For now, public sentiment remains divided, with polls showing nearly equal levels of support for Fetterman's lawsuit and concern over its implications for freedom of speech. The courtroom, it seems, will not be the only battleground. Public opinion may be just as crucial in shaping the final legacy of this case. Legal scholars suggest that the lawsuit could set a precedent for how public figures interact with media personalities in the age of viral television. While defamation suits involving political figures are not unprecedented, few reach the courtroom due to the high evidentiary threshold required. Fetterman's decision to move forward signals a strategic gamble, one that seeks to challenge the boundaries of what constitutes protected speech in politically charged settings. Professor Elaine Whitaker, a specialist in media law at NYU, notes that if the court rules in Fetterman's favor, it may embolden other politicians to file similar suits. This case could open the floodgates, she warns. It might discourage aggressive journalism, especially in televised formats where off-the-cuff commentary is common. On the other hand, a dismissal could reaffirm the strength of free speech protections, particularly for opinion-based programming like The View. In the broader context, the case may reflect increasing tensions between politics and media as each battles for public trust. As public discourse becomes more polarized, the margin for error narrows, and the costs of misstatements, intentional or not, grow steeper. If successful, Fetterman's suit could usher in a new era where on-air commentary is subjected to tighter scrutiny, potentially reshaping the tone and style of political coverage. Meanwhile, journalists and legal advisors across the country are watching closely. Training manuals and newsroom guidelines may be revised depending on the outcome, with a greater emphasis on fact-checking even during opinion segments. Whether this will enhance the quality of discourse or stifle spontaneity remains to be seen. Senator John Fetterman's lawsuit against Sunny Hostin is more than a legal dispute. It is a confrontation between political authority and media influence. As the case unfolds, it will test the limits of defamation law and freedom of expression in one of the most visible arenas in American public life. If you found this deep dive into the Fetterman-Hostin legal clash informative, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Clab News for more in-depth analysis of the stories that shape our world. We break down complex issues into compelling narratives so you're never left in the dark. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss our latest reports. Your source for serious news, delivered with clarity and depth.